Hey everybody, wanted to do a book tag and a reading challenge, and I thought it would be one of the coolest ways to do this. So this is the I Want to Believe book tag and reading challenge. As many of you know, and if you guys are fans like I am, The X-Files started on September 10th, 1993, and went off the air May 19th, 2002, which would have been 18 years ago today. The X-Files starred main characters David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson, and they were paranormal FBI detectives that were trying to find out about if aliens were actually visiting the Earth, the conspiracies around it. I have such fond memories of this show. I used to watch it with my dad. It was one of the few times my mom let us watch something like that. She usually didn't let us watch scary movies and things like that, but Dad always convinced her that we should watch the show with him, my stepdad. So for me, it just holds such positive memories, and I've been watching the show a little bit. I made it most of the way back through season 1, and then for this challenge, I've watched a bunch of episodes, try to pull out my favorite ones. So I picked 10 episodes and a song that really encompass the X-Files. These are my personal favorite episodes. I did look at a couple lists that had, top 10 X-Files episodes compiled by other people, and I took from theirs and then I added some of my own. So to start off, if you don't want to watch the book tag, the reading challenge is 2 books. That's why I'm not calling it a readathon or anything like that. It's a quick, easy reading challenge. I wanted to do 1 book about a paranormal detective or, detectives trying to research something that they don't understand. And then I wanted to do one on first contact. So I have 2 books. My paranormal detective one is Aliens Among Us. It is a supposedly true stories about alien contact and abductions. The main author, Ruth Montgomery, investigates new evidence of extraterrestrial aliens who are already among us and how they will guide us through the new age, about to dawn at the end of this century. In these enthralling pages, you will learn secrets of real men and women, including a U.S. president who have encountered aliens, secrets of psychic power centers, both on Earth and beyond it, secrets about UFO phenomena our government has covered up for decades, and the secrets of the great global upheavals that lie ahead and how we can prepare. So this seemed like a perfect book for paranormal detective. I'm totally willing. I know a lot of people are reading the Dresden Files right now. If you want to count that as your paranormal detective, I'm good with that. That one would totally work. And for my first contact book, it's Sphere by Michael Crichton. This is an amazing movie. And I remember watching it as a kid, and I remember being amazed by the movie. And so I'm really excited to get into the book. The way it's described is, in the middle of the South Pacific, 1,000 feet below the surface of the water, a huge vessel is discovered resting on the ocean floor. Rushed to the scene is a group of American scientists who descend together to the depths of the sea to investigate this astonishing discovery. What they find defies their imaginations and mocks their attempts of logical explanation. It is a spaceship of phenomenal dimensions, apparently undamaged by its fall from the sky, and most startling, it appears to be over 300 years old. If the book is anything like the movie, I'm going to love it. So, First Contact and a paranormal detective, any genre, however you want to do it, that's up to you guys. I thought it would be a cool, 2 books to add to your TBR, even maybe books you already have on your TBR that you can add and, say, hey, I want to believe reading challenge. So thought that'd be cool. Going into the tag. So September 10th, 1993 was the first episode. That's the pilot. The pilot is where Scully and Mulder first meet, and I wanted to pick a book that is a great beginning to a series. So the one that I picked was Leviathan Wakes. It is a great start to a very long series, the Expanse series. Leviathan Wakes, we basically have a detective, Miller, who is trying to find a missing girl, and a young, I don't know, he's not a captain yet, but James Holden, who is crewing a small crew on a salvage ship where they go and collect water for a space station set on an asteroid belt. After that, craziness happens. A bunch of, basically they're all thrown into a mix where war between Earth and Mars starts, because we've colonized Mars and we've colonized the asteroid belts. Great series so far. Can't read book 2, probably in June as well. So this is going to be really cool. It's a wonderful start to the series. I dug right through this book because it was so much fun. So the next episode I picked was Squeeze, which is season 1, episode 3, and it's about a monster who looks like a man. His name is Toombs. That's his last name, and he can elongate his body to where he can get into any place and then eat your liver, and then he cocoons himself for years and years and years. So I wanted to pick the best monster that you've come across, sci-fi, fantasy, or what do you want to pick? So for me, I went a little out of the box because I know a lot of people are going to pick it for Pennywise and some of the other things like that. So I wanted to start it off with the people from 1984, more specifically the government, and the way that the government were monstrously indoctrinating people and not letting them think for themselves. 1984 is an amazing book. If you haven't read it, even no matter what side of the political spectrum you stand on, it's a book that you should read, I think. So the third episode that I picked was the ErlenMeyer Flask, which is season 1, episode 24. It was the season finale for season 1. And in this one, Scully actually finds a baby alien in liquid nitrogen. And she pulls it out, and it's like a big shock moment. And so it was one of those defining moments for the whole show where the conspiracy theory really becomes the overarching theme for the whole show. So for that one, I wanted to do the best sci-fi book you've ever read. And so for that one, obviously I'm picking Dune. Dune is the book that I think really gained a love of sci-fi for me, and what drove me into this world of sci-fi and wondering about the cosmos and space, what we could become in the future, what we would do, different creatures. I recently reread it, and it's coming from a different perspective as a young man to a father. It's just been mind-blowing how relevant this book is, being written in the 60s. It's so amazing, and everybody should give this book a shot for sure. So there's a lot of great episodes in season 2, but I kind of skipped over them because I only have 10 episodes and they had a lot of seasons. The fourth episode I picked was Clyde Bruckman's final Repose, which is season 3, episode 4. This is the episode where the psychic insurance salesman is finally killed. And so he predicts his own death. He kind of sees that. It's really sad. This is actually the only episode that won an Emmy. So I wanted to pick your ultimate favorite book. Mine is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. It is a big old chunker, but it is an amazing start to the Stormlight Archive. I personally love the book. If you haven't heard about it, it is the story about a young man who's become a slave, a high prince in a world where the kingdoms are fractured and the king is not well respected, and a young lady who is trying to kind of find her way into the world. And just an amazing story. If you haven't heard about it on YouTube, I'll link some great review videos on it. Michael Nip did a great one recently. That one really came out really well, and it's a great one to point to if you want to know more about The Way of Kings. So the fifth episode I picked was Jose Chungs from Outer Space. This is season 3, episode 20. This is a really funny alien abduction story where Scully is basically being interviewed on her version of an alien abduction story, where basically it starts out where there's 2 aliens come to abduct this young couple. They get confronted by a werewolf, and it gets nuts from there. So I wanted you guys to look around and find your ultimate funny book, the funniest book you've ever read, and give us a great funny book recommendation. For me, obviously, it's going to be The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I love that book. I remember laughing so hard I cried when all of a sudden a whale appears. And I mean, I just died laughing. And it's a great book if you haven't read it. Also a wonderful sci-fi book, so it brings you right into the right genre here. The 6th episode that I picked was Home. This is season 4, episode 2. This episode was bizarre. The immediate start, you get these kids playing baseball, and a kid is, scuffing his foot, getting ready to swing, and he kicks up a baby's hand. And it's the only episode X-Files never re-aired on TV. The whole series has been syndicated, but Home has never been rebroadcasted. It was only shown that one time. And it dealt with very disturbing incest and some crazy stuff like that. It's one of the hardest episodes to watch. It's a tough one. So for me, I wanted to go and do like the weirdest, creepiest, nastiest thing you've ever seen in a book. The thing that bugged me is this is the Wayfarer's Redemption series, and this is book 4. The whole series really deals with incest, like very very much a lot of incest. Now, the story is good, but the incest is hard to get over. In this one, this young lady and her grandfather is trying to pursue a sexual relationship with her, and I might do reviews on these books. I have all 6 of them, and the story really grips you and it gets you going. But as the series goes on, the incest just gets more and more and more and more. And like you thought there was incest in Game of Thrones, this is way, way, way more. So the 7th episode that I picked was Postmodern Prometheus. This is season 5, episode 5, and it's a Frankenstein-style black and white episode where there's a two-faced boy who Scully and Mulder are trying to help out and investigate why everybody thinks he's bad. It's very similar with like his creator blaming him for the things that have gone wrong in the town, and wonderful tie back to Frankenstein. So I wanted to use that as a prompt for what your favorite classic book is. And for me, Treasure Island is clearly my favorite classic. It's short, it's easy. It's about a young boy who finds a treasure map, accidentally is on a ship with a whole bunch of pirates. Long John Silver's in this one. Everybody kind of knows who he is. It's a wonderful, wonderful story, and I think everybody should give this one a read. It's pretty short, so it won't take you too long to get through it, and it's amazing. The 8th episode I picked was Bad Blood, which is season 5, episode 12. This is the one where Mulder thinks he kills a vampire, and the whole story is told in flashbacks on him and Scully kind of trying to relay what they believe happened on the lead up to this case. So I wanted to pick books that had the best flashbacks in it. So if you have a book that has the best flashbacks for you, for me it was it. All the children forget, and when they come back as an adult, they have to remember what's going on, and they go through flashbacks, and as they're remembering, the other kids are remembering too. And the flashbacks is a lot of the way that the past part of the story is told, to where they learn so much about what was going on with Pennywise and what the kids did to fight Pennywise. And so flashbacks are a huge part of this book, and I wanted to use it as my flashback book. So the 9th episode I picked was Drive, which is season 6, episode 2. Mulder and Scully are kind of put in the background, and they're investigating like big people that buy a bunch of ammonium nitrate fertilizer, and they're just getting shelved. And they come upon this news story where a man is running, and his wife, when they pull her out of the car, her head explodes. And so then the guy jumps in the car with Mulder and drives off, and they drive the whole episode, just nonstop driving. And Bryan Cranston is actually in that episode. It's a really good episode. And I wanted to pick the book with nonstop action. So I'm picking Gods of Mars, which is the second Barsoom book. And basically when John Carter comes back to Mars, he meets all kinds of people. He's in the land of Is, in the Valley of Dor, and he's just fighting. He fights the plant monsters. He fights the white apes. He fights the white men of Thurn, the black pirates. He finds his friend Tarj Tarkus. I mean, he's just fighting, and it's nonstop action all the way through the book. It's really good. The 10th episode I picked was Milagro, which is season 6, episode 18. And this is the one where an author is writing, and when he writes, his words become reality. So I wanted to pick a book where you never want to go there. What is the setting that you just don't want to go to? So as I recently read Metro 2033, this setting was creepy and scary and mystical. Post-nuclear metro tunnels in Moscow, and I would never want to go there. This place has mutants, it has death. I mean, every station is its own little craziness world, and it was a fun book to read, but I'd never want to go there. All right, and as I said, the bonus question is going to be a song. So I don't know if you guys ever listened to the Bare Naked Ladies growing up. One week, there's I Hope the Smoking Man's in this one when he talks about it, the X-Files. So I wanted to do your favorite side character, because the Smoking Man was a favorite side character in the X-Files, and I wanted to see what your favorite side characters were. For me, every time Iron Fist is in the Lightbringer series, his character is great. He is the leader of the Blackguard. He's Korean, so he's a black man, and they're revered because you can't see the colors when they're drafting under their skin. And that's really, really cool. He He's a blue drafter and he's amazing at so many different things, and everybody reveres him as like the best fighter in all of the Blackguard, and Iron Fist is an amazing side character. I love him a lot. So I've got a bunch of people that I want to tag. You guys don't have to do it if you don't want to. I have Ben from Fantasy Fiction, Scott from Book Invasion, Christy from Christy Lewis, Faye from Books and Chocoholic, Angela from Literature Science Alliance, Deanie from Deanie, Leslie from the Nerdy Narrative, Crypto and Una from the Codex Cantina, Mooney Reads, Brad Proctor, Graham from the Archive, and Working Man Reads. Those are just a few people. I have so many more I can add on here, but I'm going to let you guys tag them, and hopefully this tag kind of gains a little bit of notoriety because I love the X-Files. Hopefully you guys do as well. See ya.